Hello, hello, all you lovely listeners out there, and welcome to episode 28 of the Take It with a Grain of Sand podcast. I am your host, Mickey P,
And Ricky P.
and boy, oh boy, do we have a show for you today. We got 3 segments, Ricky.
Yeah. We're gonna be revisiting Reddit. What is it? Oh yeah. Grind my gears.
Mm-hmm.
And another segment. As always, not gonna really mention this segment at all. Gotta listen to it and find out.
Alright.
But before we begin, at the time of this recording, it is a special day. You know what day is it, Mickey?
What day is it?
April 20th.
Yeah.
420.
Oh,
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Yes, it's a very notable holiday at the time of this recording.
Holiday? I wouldn't go that far.
I mean, well, I mean, I don't know about her, but for me, it's a noble day. But, but, aside from that, that's all I wanted to say. Without further ado, let's get started with the first segment. And welcome back to another reoccurring segment called Nextdoor. So, Mickey, what's the story for today?
Ricky, I've got a great story yet again on what might be my favorite recurring segment, Nextdoor. I've got a great one. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We're gonna jump right in. We got Joseph C. He says, I just broke up a fist fight at the park between 2 black teen females. Thank you to all the people that just stood there at the dog park instead of calling the police. Thank you to their mothers who were screaming at each other instead of stopping their daughters. At first, I only thought it was teenagers until I realized their mothers were right there. Thank you to Norfolk Fire Station 13 for doing nothing even though it was right next door. Now,
What?
I had some initial thoughts on this one. Okay, so it starts with I just broke up a fist fight between 2 black teen females. I was like, wow, okay, we got Batman here. He showed up and split up these girls. And then he starts being all condescending and sarcastic. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
um,
to everyone. But that's not where this ends, Ricky. Well, first, do you have any initial thoughts on this post?
kind of sounds a bit narcissistic.
Mm-hmm. Really patting himself on the back. Or like he really posted this, patting himself on the back. But as usual, it's the comments that really make the post special. And that's the recurring
Okay.
theme with this segment. And that's what I've noticed on Nextdoor. Like sometimes people post weird whatever encounter they had or experience, and it doesn't really matter until you read the comments. And that's chef's kiss, the meat and potatoes of a great Nextdoor post. And so let's get into these
Yes.
comments. We got Catherine saying, do you think their mothers were letting the girls settle down on their own? Just saying, back in the day, that's how it worked, but parents did not participate. Thank you for being concerned. maybe,
Okay.
maybe they're just trying to settle their differences on their own with their fists.
Yeah.
Oh man. Um, some people were on OP's side, saying thank you for stepping in and breaking up the fight. Um, Unfortunately, nobody was being held accountable from Nicole. Nobody's being
Okay.
held accountable. And then Kate, we got Kate in here saying, I can't believe people are defending this. I know kids fight. I've witnessed several before, but hearing that the parents stood there idly by? Question mark. And were themselves verbally fighting. Stay classy, Norfolk. I mean, I guess she's right. You know, kids fight, but are you supposed to just stand there and watch them as their parent? I don't really know. I'm not a parent, so I don't know what you're supposed to do. Um, oh, here we go. We got Junior. Ricky, here's what Junior said.
Okay.
Was there pieces of weave thrown about?
What? What?
Oh, is there pieces of weaves being thrown about? That's what Junior says. Ah, classic. So then here's where we get all down the rabbit hole and all off topic. Okay, someone replied to Junior and said, and this is why race had zero, all caps, reason to be mentioned in this particular story. But you know, whatever grabs eyes.
Okay. Actually, no. I actually agree with that. I mean, you could just say like two girls fought.
Really didn't have to say anything. This had nothing to
Um,
do with, honestly, the Nextdoor app in general.
I mean,
He wanted to pat
yeah,
himself on the
but
back.
yeah, like, but in the grand scheme of things, like, you didn't have to bring race in it.
He felt the need to. I think, though, if I had to, I don't know this guy, and I'm just speculating, but a lot of times on the Nextdoor app, race is mentioned in reference to looking for a suspect. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. Usually it'll say something like my package was stolen off of my doorstep. There's a white man in a hoodie on my Ring camera. Keep your eyes out.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. Like race gets mentioned a lot on the Nextdoor app when describing people. And so I don't know if maybe it's just the culture of being on this app. You're supposed to mention race. I don't know, but that's what Asia's saying. That's when it really went down the rabbit hole. We got Charles who said in response to the original post, rather see two consenting people on an equal playing field handle each other if they want. Too many grown men can't figure that out and resort to weapons. So Charles is pro teens fighting.
Okay.
Sounds like Charles is all for having two teens fight. That's better than, grown men pull out guns. At least the kids are just fighting with their hands.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that's better. Let's see. We got
Hmm.
someone said, sad people just stand by and do nothing. Thank you for stepping up. So some people there's people on both sides. And then
Yeah.
Pamela. Oh, Pamela. Pamela says, I will say it again. Monsters breeding monsters. Oh, Pamela.
What, what's that supposed to mean?
I think that that's in reference to the race.
Oh.
I think. Marie replied to Pamela saying, what in the world are you talking about? These are people, maybe not behaving well, but people nonetheless. And I don't know how to pronounce this name. Daitea says, and I will say to you, racist, all caps.
What?
That's how
Oh,
that's how Pamela replies because you said monsters breeding monsters. I don't know. Monsters was a poor choice of words for sure, and I don't know if Pamela's a racist or not, but I think, knowing that the parents were fighting as well, like what kind of behavior do you expect from the kids? They're just doing what their
yeah.
parents are doing, you know?
Oh yeah, of course. Like 100%.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, maybe like monsters was not the right word, but like misbehaving people breed misbehaving people, you know? And that's not even
Yeah.
always the case. Sometimes there's bad parents that end up having good kids, parents that act out of pocket, that end up having very well behaved kids. Um,
Yes.
I think having them be exposed to other behavior really helps, like going to school and they see how other kids act and they learn from that rather than learning from their parents. Quite
Yeah, that
possible,
happens
but that
sometimes.
was not the case here. I just don't understand why
No.
she felt the need to use the word monsters. But then Daitea is not finished. Daitea has a long response to OP. Taitea says fighting is unacceptable. So are some of these racist comments. The author of the post points out that they were two black teen girls, and someone in the comments there was probably she missed a word. As she meant to say, someone in the comments said there was probably weed flying everywhere, and people are laughing at that and giving it likes. Another one of you called them monsters. Would they be quote unquote monsters if they were white? I am a black woman. I do not fight and I do not wear weave. I do not condone fighting, nor do I condone racism. What's sad is racism and hate is still alive and well in 2024. We're really gone down the rabbit hole here. And
Yeah.
Asia, as I don't know if I mentioned her name earlier. There was a reply from Asia. I don't know if I said, but Asia's back. Yeah, Asia replied to this saying, Nextdoor condones and protects racism, racist speech, dog whistles, and the like. If we dare point it out, we are in timeout and being bad, uppity. I don't really understand what this is saying. We are putting time out for being bad, uppity, and not staying in our place. It is what it is. I don't really know what she's trying to say there. But
Me neither.
OP has come back replying to Daitea saying, I described the two individuals that were taking part in these actions regardless of race. If they wouldn't be, if they would have been green leprechaun. Okay, okay, I get it now. I described the two
What?
individuals that were taking part in these actions regardless of race. If they would have been green leprechauns, that's exactly how I would have described them. I've personally been the victim of racism. Try being Chinese during COVID. That was just the latest episode. My intent was to describe the interaction, not highlight somebody's race. Man.
Wow.
I think that gives the whole post kind of a different light. Like once he explained that, like he was just saying what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it's a conscious choice not to mention race when you're talking about a stranger. I think it's a choice that we've made now. When describing people we interact with, you're telling a story about something that involves people that your audience doesn't even know and doesn't know what they look like, and you're describing them. I think we've opted as a people, not like it's not okay to say what race they are. what color they are. But I
Yeah.
don't know if that's necessarily I don't know. Like should we just fully ignore race and not mention it, pretend you don't notice? I don't know. Asia goes on, she makes another post replying to another reply to the original post saying, "Tell me what constructive point was made by mentioning the assumed race of either child. For all you know, they could have been brown children, native or Indian or indigenous or Latino. What gives you the right to assume and then go out of your way to make it a point to point out that they were quote unquote black and then denigrate that the behavior that you very vehemently she's got a thesaurus. I said a thesaurus like a
Wow.
fedora. Asia's got the
Yeah.
thesaurus out. These are some big words. You very vehemently found lacking. By all means, and other less censored words, animal like, and the surrounding quote unquote community, therein making yourself the central hero. Bravo and slow claps, good sir. Good job. I'm positive you received what you wanted.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That comment was just everything.
Yeah.
Pour her heart out to that.
Mm-hmm. Really went out of her way and put big words. Who says denigrate? Vehemently.
Hmm.
Uh, Asia must be like maybe an English teacher or something. I mean, there's grammatical errors here. So she just ran out of her way to, use some big words and write a long comment. Um, I guess I can see merit on both sides here. We're way off topic for one. We're not even
Yes.
talking about the girls fighting anymore. It's gone way off the rails, as I said that it would. I
Yeah.
can see merit to both sides because on one hand, race didn't really play an important role in what Joseph was saying. And that is true. Like if he would have taken that out, the story would be the same, right?
Yes.
Whereas there's other instances where race plays an important role in what you're trying to say, so you have to mention it. I think maybe here it didn't. But then it's like, why is it a big deal to notice what color someone is also? Like, I don't really see anything wrong with noticing. Like, it's not a slur to say, to notice that someone's black. I don't think that that's offensive to notice if
No,
someone's
no.
white or black or Hispanic or Asian or anything. So I don't know if it's so wrong for him to have added that detail to his story. Um, but yet again, I'm going to mention he didn't have to post this at all. He was really asking for trouble with this one. That's the thing.
Yes.
That's the thing. He's really just asking for trouble. But I can see both sides. That's my problem. I don't know whose side I'm on here. Because people are saying like he didn't have to mention race, and then he's saying it didn't have any, I was just telling the story, and it's like I don't know who's right or wrong. You know who's right or wrong, Ricky?
No, I don't.
I'm gonna throw this one
I'm
to the
kind of in.
audience.
Yeah.
You guys let us know what you think, because I'm not really sure what's right. Um, and maybe Asia made a good point. It's like who are you to decide and say what race the person was. Um, but I don't know, like I feel like black is also like he didn't specify a nationality, and black is kind of a catch-all term to me. Like it's it includes so many different backgrounds that you can kind of say that someone is black. I don't know. I don't know if you
Mm.
can or not, because it's like I don't there's the race thing is so sensitive in this country for some reason. Well, there's a reason.
Yeah.
There's definitely a reason.
Oh
But
yeah, it
it's like
is.
tensions are at an all-time high. So to avoid any offense, people have decided to just ignore race, not mention it, and just we're just gonna act like we're all like we don't see color differences in people. We're supposed to act like we don't notice. And that just seems so unnatural to me. Like pretty much anyone
Yeah.
that's different, though it's not even just about race. Like if someone's in a wheelchair, it's like you're supposed to act like you don't notice
Yeah.
it, or like if you see someone that might have like a mental disability, you're supposed to act like you don't notice. I I don't know. And maybe you are. I don't know what the answers are here. But the topic at hand was supposed to be these two girls fighting, which is absolutely absurd. The story itself,
Yes.
like I don't even know. I wouldn't have involved myself, but I'm no stronger than them, so I wouldn't have even been able to help. I would be like right there on a level playing field with them. I don't think I could have broken it up. I mean, but maybe we needed Joseph to step in as a big strong man and come and pat himself on the back on the Nextdoor app.
Okay.
And you know, I guess that's just what we need these days. We need Nextdoor Batman.
Next door, man.
Last
Oh
episode
my
we
god.
had Jumper Cable Batman, and this episode we got Nextdoor Batman. Maybe that should be the title
Oh.
of the episode.
Oh. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Nextdoor Batman. Over and out. Or I don't know what Batman says.
Jesus. And welcome back to another recurring subject called What Grinds My Gears? So, Mickey, what grinds your gears?
Ricky, what grinds my gears today is I'm just gonna say dummies. There are some
Wow, we're
real,
getting right into it.
yes, there are some real dummies out there in the world. Listen up. I think this is gonna be a very relatable topic if you've ever encountered a dummy, and if you've ever been outside before in public, you've encountered a dummy. So here we go. Here's my story of my encounter with a dummy. All right. So just a few days ago, I got off of work and I got into my car and my windshield was very dirty. Okay. It was a
Alright.
high pollen count day, and I park under trees. So my car was very dirty. My windshield's really dirty, and I wanted to go to the car wash naturally. Okay?
Alright.
This makes a lot of sense. Even though, I don't usually make stops on my way home. I usually like to just come straight home after work. But I was like, why? I have a car wash membership. Why would I just leave my car dirty and pay these people $30 a month? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. So then I got off at the exit for the car wash, and um, I don't even know what was going on. Now, this street, it's a two-lane street, and it was kind of blocked up. and I didn't know what was happening. We were going really slow, which even during rush hour was weird. I've been down this street before, even during rush hour, it was not this much traffic. And then I see coming towards me from the other side an ambulance. And I was like, oh, where, I wonder where they're going. I might need to move. I was expecting them to go past me or turn, but no, they stopped in the street just several cars ahead of me. They just stopped and they blocked the whole street on that side, on my side, the way that I was going. I was like, oh Lord, something's happening, and that's why we're not moving. So then, like, there was no way to get around them without, like, going onto the other side of the road. So then people started cutting into a parking lot right off of the street to get around. So then I was doing that. And then, so when I inched up and finally saw what was going on, there was just some guy collapse. He was just like laying there in the street, in the lane. And they
Oh.
and I was like, what in the world is going on? And there was a lady standing over him with like a shade thing over his face because it was really bright and sunny. She was like shading his face. And there was an EMT coming out with the board, those board things that they transport people on. He was
Yeah.
coming out with that, like this was a very new development. And I was wondering what in the world was, like, there's no context. You don't get any context in these situations, you know?
No.
So I had no
No.
idea. I'm still trying to figure out what in the world could have happened to him that he was laying there in the street like that, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was hot out, but it wasn't that hot. Like, it was more like warm. It was like high 70s, maybe low 80s. Like,
I mean, I don't. Wait, were there any like cars involved?
I don't know. I didn't see any. I didn't see any vehicles that weren't, someone wasn't in it. Like, it was all people just trying to get around. So
Oh.
I don't know if maybe he was walking and he got hit by a car. I don't know. And maybe it was like a hit and run situation, like they just took off. Or if it
Oh.
was, I don't know, maybe some type of medical thing. Like, I don't know, maybe he had a stroke or a heart attack or a seizure or something. I don't know, but like this really threw things off. I just wanted like a quick trip to the car wash, and I'm sitting there in all this traffic, and I know it's probably not the best thing to say that this guy needing having a medical emergency inconvenienced me. But I'm telling
Wow.
the story and it's from my perspective, okay? So this guy was having a worse day, but I was still trying to get a car wash really quick, and this was really putting me back from other things I was trying to do. So, but anyways, I get around and I get to the car wash. Fine. I go in. So I go to one of the car washes where they put you on the conveyor belts and they drag you through, you know? And
Okay.
so I'm there, I'm in it. It's kind of busy. It's like moderately busy. Like I've definitely seen them have a way longer line, but I've also seen them be less. I don't know why I'm describing how busy it was. There were other people there, but it wasn't crazy. And so I'm like
Yeah.
halfway through, um, just it was getting to like the rents, and then all of a sudden the whole thing just stops and there's like a sound in the car wash.
Oh.
There's like this a loud like what's like a stop noise. Like like that. And what I saw in front of me was that the person in front of me was braking. Their brake lights were on just before this. And I was like, Lord, what in the world are you doing? Why are you braking in the car wash? No. And the whole thing just stopped. The water stopped, everything stopped, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't do anything. I just sat there because I was confused and didn't know if it, like, am I gonna have to like just drive through and my car is not done, and like what's gonna happen right now? And then the guy that had guided me in from the front of the car wash came in. I was gonna say came running in. He was just walking. I wasn't in that much of a hurry, but he did come into the car wash and did something. I'm sure there's like some type of lever or button to get it started again. And then it started up and finished like normal. But I was like, what kind of dummy breaks in the car wash? And I was, oh my God, it's not that difficult. People, if you go through a car wash with a conveyor belt, all you have to do is let the person, they're going to guide you on to the conveyor belt, make sure you're on it correctly. Then you put your car in neutral and you take your foot off the brake. You just put it on the floor. And then once you're through the car wash, there's a little light that tells you green, good to go. That's when you drive off. That's when you put the brake back on, switch it back to drive and drive off, or shift the gears if you gotta put it in first if you got a you got a manual
Oh, that
transmission.
sounds.
It's very simple. It's a simple concept. These
Yeah, it is simple.
these people were breaking inside of the car wash. And I was like, even if there's something happening where you feel like you need to brake, you really still shouldn't. Because what's going to happen is you're braking, I'm still behind you inching up, right? And
Yeah.
you're also probably going to just mess up your tires. And then I'm going to slam into you because I'm not braking and messing up my car. But then I'm going to mess up my car anyways. I'm going to hit you braking in the car wash. Good Lord. I couldn't figure it out. But I think the problem was the person in front of the person that was in front of me. I think that they didn't move out of the way. They were at the end. And just as this is a thing stopped, they were pulling out, so I think maybe they didn't get out fast enough, and so the person behind them got scared and started braking. But I don't know, I don't even know what would happen if it didn't have like that emergency stop on it. Like what if you're on a conveyor belt and you start braking while you're in neutral? I don't know what happens. Does it just keep dragging you along? I don't know if braking
Mm,
even works, because I've never tried.
yeah.
I would have tried honking first. I think they didn't even, there was no honk. I would have tried honking because you can't stop. You can't stop in the car wash. Oh my God. What a dummy. Like, what is even gonna happen? I don't know what they were thinking. Like, I would love to know what they were thinking because it doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm gonna stop saying like. I just don't
Yeah.
understand what could have possibly been going through their mind that they were breaking in the car wash. Like, what was that supposed to do? I don't know, Ricky.
Nah.
What do you think about all this?
Mm, I mean, what if there was? It was their first time.
Their first time in the car wash? Well,
Yeah, in that particular car wash.
I mean, on my first time through the car wash, I didn't hit the brake. It's
Yeah.
pretty easy. They tell you neutral, no brake every single time. They say it out loud, and there's a big light up thing that says to put the car in neutral.
Yeah.
And
Of
then you
course.
let go, and then it tells you at the end when to go. I've Even my
Yeah.
first time, I had never, before going to this car wash, I had never been to a car wash that is on a conveyor belt where you stay in the car. I hadn't experienced from me driving the car. I had never done that before. And I still didn't brake while I was still in the car wash.
Okay.
It's pretty easy. So even if it was their first time, I just don't see how you mess up that bad.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't know. It could have been their first time and they were scared. I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
that I have no idea. But it just seems like a dummy to me.
Well, of course.
I think they were just a dummy. And that was my experience on a Thursday afternoon. It took so long. Like I got home so much later than I intended to. Just dealing with so much foolishness out and on the streets.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm ever gonna stop for a car wash on my way home again. I'm gonna just keep going on Saturday mornings, early Saturday mornings, like I usually do, because there's hardly anyone there. There's hardly anyone on the streets. If I go early
Yep.
enough, and this place opens really early, so if I go early enough, there's barely anyone around, and then there's less foolishness.
Yes.
That I think I'm just gonna stick with that no matter how dirty my car is in the during the week. I just can't deal with this nonsense. I cannot deal with this nonsense. It's like I said I was gonna stop saying like it's I can't make it make
it's
sense.
it's
It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous, you know? And there's just some real dummies out there. But
Oh yeah, definitely.
there's some real dummies. And that's just one example. And I would love to hear in the comments your experiences with a dummy in public. Have you all has anyone ever experienced someone breaking in the car wash, the kind that we're on the conveyor belts? Um, Let me know. So see if is this a is this an isolated experience or is this really common and no one knows how to operate themselves in a car wash? Because I've been going to this car wash for a long time too. Not a long time. It's been like several months of me going to it almost every week at least, sometimes twice a week. Um, for about maybe 6 months or so. So, and I've never experienced this before. So maybe it's an isolated thing. Maybe I just experienced one dummy. I saw I witnessed one dummy this one time. So I guess the rate of dummies isn't too high at this car wash. I've experienced other dummies, but at this car wash, I've only seen one
Yes.
full dummy, maybe two, if you count the person in front of the person. Um,
Yes.
but I can't think of any other dummy experiences. I mean, there's people just being rude and I don't know. Just let me know in the comments.
And here we are with another segment called R slash. Am I being too sensitive?
Yeah.
So, What's the story for today?
I got a short one, real quick. It's titled Boss Doesn't Buy Me Coffee. All right, it says, so I work for a small company and am a PA, personal assistant for one of the directors. Once a week, the director goes out for coffee and always asks one of the other PAs if she wants anything, but never asks me, her own PA. The other PA works for the other director, so I find it a bit rude that she never asked me. Am I being too sensitive?
Hmm.
What do you think, Ricky? Is she being
Uh,
too sensitive?
I mean, kinda. I mean, is there a reason?
She doesn't say.
That's the thing. I'm kind of in the middle. It's, it's hard for me to decide which one.
I don't know. I mean, on one hand, it is. I mean, I've never been anyone's personal assistant. I thought it's usually the assistant that gets the coffee.
Yeah.
Maybe this is like, you know, I hate to say it, but sometimes women, she uses the pronoun she, referring to the director, her director. And
Yes.
sometimes women do like caddish, um, passive aggressive. Men do it too, but it's like with women that it's quite. I don't know what the word is for it, but maybe it's this thing where the director is expecting person goes by the name the curvy Irish girl, to get her
Okay.
coffee. So, but she doesn't, instead of saying, "Can you get me coffee?" like she's expecting her assistant to be offering to go out and get her coffee, right? So, but
Okay.
instead of
Yeah.
saying that, she goes out and gets coffee for the other assistant to send a message that she wants her to start going out and getting the coffee because that's usually something assistants do, I thought. I don't know. I don't have an assistant. There's no assistants in my uh where I work. So I don't really know.
Okay.
But yeah, people are on both sides in the comments. Someone said not being too sensitive. I'm a PA and that is plain rude. She should ask both of you, not just her. Um, there's someone else saying, yes, you are too sensitive. People are allowed to have friends and get along with someone regardless of position. But then someone else says, kind of a jerk move, but don't lose too much sleep about it. It is rude. Um, yeah, I don't, people are on both sides of this, but no one's saying what I'm saying. I think I've got an original opinion that maybe she's trying to send a message of you should be getting me coffee. So I'm not getting you coffee. You're supposed to get me coffee. What if it's like that?
Okay.
That's
Mm,
possible.
And yeah, and OP is just not getting the message.
Yeah, OP is it's going right over the curvy Irish girl's head. Um it could also be that I don't know, something else about OP is bugging the boss or something. This just seems like a weird passive aggressive move that's supposed to send some type of message. That's what it seems like to me. Because I've experienced
Yeah.
this, not this exact situation, because I'm not an assistant, but I have experienced this kind of thing when interacting with women. And sometimes, like, they'll go out of their way to exclude someone to send some type of message. Like, I'll share a quick anecdote. In my office, there was this woman that was pregnant and she was about to go on maternity leave. Even though she hadn't given birth yet, but she was going on maternity leave and she was throwing a baby shower. And she invited a lot
Okay.
of people in the office, and I guess I should mention we did not get along. I don't know even know what it was. Like I could just tell she didn't like me, and I don't know what I did or said to her. I have no idea. She just didn't like me. And she said, and then she invited a bunch of people to her baby shower, and she just did not include me. And she included my friend, the girl sitting next this is next to me, and so she was invited. I was not invited. I think it was like one of those just passive aggressive moves to send a message of I don't like you, you know?
Okay.
Which
Ah.
I think, you know what? It really worked out for me on two fronts. One, I didn't have to buy her a gift.
Yeah,
Two,
okay.
someone got COVID at the party. So after the party, someone tested positive for COVID and everyone had to get tested.
Wow.
So, including my friend that sits next to me, she was like, "Oh no, someone got COVID from the baby shower." And I was like, "Well, I'm glad I was not invited." And so yeah, there's my experience with something kind of similar to this, I guess. So maybe that's what happened with OP. It's just like it just might be one of these passive aggressive just catty childish behavior where instead of saying what you want you go out of your way to with your actions and try to send a message to someone when we could just sit down as adults and discuss what's bothering you.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can actually, with that perspective, maybe. But if OP doesn't really know that, then I, I'll still have to remain neutral on that grounds.
Just remain neutral.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll throw it to the audience. What do you guys think? Maybe I'm overthinking this,
Yeah.
and maybe OP is overthinking it too by even thinking about it at all. Maybe there's nothing to it. Maybe there's something that OP doesn't know. You know, there's some other important factor that she's missing the context of why the other PA gets coffee and she doesn't. Maybe
Yeah.
there's a good reason for it. You know, I maybe she knows that this other PA gets tired or something, maybe something medical. Ah, you know what? It's beyond me. But maybe there's some other factor and we're all just overthinking it
Yeah.
as we do, as we do.
Of course.
Um, yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys think. And that concludes our show for today. Take it with a grain of sand. Thank you for listening. And remember
To
to,
take it with a grain of sand.
yeah, that.